growing up from kindergarten, and also when you're in church and social institutions. So when you're talking about racism or talking about the possibility of a solution, you always have to look at the system as a whole, and how is the system as a whole, will they attack or will they deal with racism? Because it's just a bunch of words and nothing. As you talk to even me, when I talk to my friends who are close to me, I don't talk about it because I realize they can never comprehend this type of perception and comprehension. And a lot of times you can lose friendships because when you try to say, "Hey, this person is racist," they say, "Oh man, it's not like that. Maybe you're exaggerating." And so I kind of like wanted to add these little extra words here, so to give you a type of education. Especially, I'm older. I was in America. We had all forms of racism, but the racism that can get you killed, to the passive racism in which you can get fired, or you make you not want to move into a certain apartment complex. The type of passive racism that makes you want to leave a job instead of saying it. A passive racism that makes you not want to go into that club or go into a bar. I mean, these are the things that, as I was listening, but the music was really great. That's one of the most positive part that I was listening, is that the music and the harmonies, it was something beautiful. So that is the positive part I can add. Music was great.
Okay, Africa. Yeah. Thank you very, very much. You said exactly what we wanted to say. It's like being at a party, and maybe you're even invited to the party, but no one talks to you and no one asks you to dance. And that's exactly what Kays was saying as well, and like all the students. And I'm glad that you brought your knowledge and your experience to the conversation, um, especially to help people who have not experienced it. Um, and I like that you picked up on the music as well, because all of the music that Kay's used means something. And I invite you and everyone else as well to go back and watch the full film on Kay's Vimeo channel, Productions, as well as his other films, and hopefully you and him and us can stay in touch. Um, does anyone have any other questions?
I think she asked somebody has other questions. But it's a question to. So you don't see us, but it's a question for the man who just spoke.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to you, and you refer to your experience in America, and I'm curious how your experience with regard to those topics is here in Germany. I don't know how long you've been here, but and the other thing is, I'd like to ask you what you think we, like me, could do about it. Okay. Well, this is a strange situation to be in because I wasn't expecting this even to be so. My friend invited me here. Um, Dealing with Germany, when I first came to Germany as a soldier, one of the things I can basically say is that when I came to Germany, it was not an issue of racism; it was more nationality was the issue. And I found that in terms of race and dealing with color, in terms of rights, that was more hidden because it was fascinating. Like I went to a dentist's office; it's the best example I can give. Or I was at a cafe one time, and the server said he was not going to serve me. And I was trying, this is like what, in the 80s and stuff like that. So, and and I was in a dentist's office and I had a complication and the guy was talking to me in a very strange way. But what I want to say, I don't want to say all the details of that situation. But what I want to say is that I found that racism that the Germans kind of hid it from themselves. I think it was more nationality and race. I kind of felt that everybody felt that it was not political to be racist, so it was kind of hidden. So it would be like if a girl would be saying, well, my parents are very open. And I say, oh, so really? And then we'll see when I go to your door when your parents seeing that you're dating a black person. And they say, oh no, they would never say nothing. But it was always, I laughed because it was very fascinating to see that the children don't even know their own parents. And I was always able to see in different situations where people didn't know their own friends that well. Or when you say, well, the person was trying to get an apartment there, they didn't. They told you straight up they're not going to give you an apartment because you're black, and they said no, that cannot be. And I say, see, that's why I stopped. In order not to lose German friends, I never talked about racism again. I never told them the things that happened because they cannot believe it. Because they feel like, no, that cannot happen. So when you say it happened, and then somebody, look, it happened to me. So, and so the ideal, in order to avoid arguments, I stopped talking about it because I felt that to call it white mind. It's just a way that people they want to protect themselves, protect everything around them, so they're not willing to see the truth. So they build a new version of it. So that is one experience I had. And yeah. And the second question, I think one of the things that we can all do about is I think that we all have to kind of like ask ourselves a question. You know, how do I feel about myself? I think it comes down to an individual thing, but I also think that it comes down to also a institutional because like Paulo Freire said, he said there's no such thing as a neutral educational system. And I realize if certain behaviors and certain things, this is what we learned in the States. If it's not pushed through the schools and pushed through the education from primary school, the lower education, all the way up, it will not happen. And everybody knows that. We have so much education. We have so many educators. We have so many years and centuries of studying human behavior and thought patterns. We have everything. We have all type of science. And so everybody knows that if you want to deal with racism and if you want to deal with it, you have to deal with it on an institutional level. So this is known. So why is it not being applied? This is the question. Why is it not being applied? Everybody knows what the answer is. The question is why do why is the German system not made in a way to deal with that? And an example is like I don't want to take over the mic, but I have to bring this integration thing up. And so integration is when you say integration, that means that I figure out how I'm going to come to Germany to live, but also the people in the country also must make a decision and also take part in the fact of understanding that person who's coming in the country to live. Integration requires a two-way road. It's not a one-way road. And so when integration is failing here, it's because it will fail because integration is not just me coming in here and eating a schnitzel and learning a slog of music. It's for you to learn something about me too. If you're not willing to learn something about me, the concept of integration is based upon the fact that if you get to know me better and you have a better understanding of me, then you can get past discrimination. You can get past these different concepts that is divided. But if one of the person doesn't want to make an effort, then it's not going to work. It's the same as in a relationship. Two people come together. Two people come together. Both must work on understanding each other. And if it's just a one-way street, then it just won't work. But we know this, so why don't we do this? We know. We all know.
This is what I always say. We in Germany, we have to integrate and we have to understand finally that we're living together with different people, and there are more and more coming and are living, and it is always a circle of migrations. It will always be. It's nothing new. It happened like the last centuries, like always before. And this is what you said. There are always two parties, two perspectives, or more, even more than two perspectives. And when we're talking about integration, there everybody is responsible to contribute to these integration processes. Not only the people who are coming to have to learn the language, to find a job and so on. No, it's also our responsibility to give them a place where they can stay, where they can work, and so on. Okay. But maybe can I just say one word, because I think we have like 15 to 20 more minutes. So maybe we have one more question if you want, and then we'll have to continue. Is it okay for you, Jochen?
Then you're finishing.
Okay. Yes, that's okay for me. And that we are, I'm really, really finished. And it's really thank you for this, for your arguments and everything like this. Okay, so thank you for all the arguments that I was really, really flashed. So I think we give also someone the possibility to speak about this thing, and then we end our events.
Yeah.
So someone who wants is invited to say something about this.
Ja, ich wollte noch sagen, also ich muss leider auch gleich gehen. Nicht wundern, wenn ich dann den Raum verlasse. Es liegt nicht daran, dass ich es nicht interessant finde, sondern ich habe eine kleine Tochter daheim. Aber mich hat jetzt gerade das nochmal so, nochmal zu dem, was vor der Pause war, daran erinnert. So diese Integration auf beiden Seiten, dass das auch bei blinden oder behinderten Menschen der Fall ist, weil ich aus meinem Alltag es kenne, dass mich Leute fragen, ach so, ja, aber der ist blind, kann der dann überhaupt den normalen Abschluss machen? Und da ist mir so ganz deutlich geworden, deswegen hat es mich gerade so daran erinnert, dass es immer auf beiden Seiten, also dieses Interesse und auch bei mir jetzt noch mal im Kopf gerattert, warum ist da niemand in der Politik, weil dieses Interesse dann auch gar nicht oder vielleicht gar nicht da ist, sich damit überhaupt auseinanderzusetzen, was es bedeutet, irgendeine Form von Einschränkung zu haben. Das war gerade einfach noch ein Gedanke, den ich hatte.
Dankeschön, Franzi. Bis bald, hoffentlich. Gut, ich glaube, wir können noch zum letzten Punkt kommen. Jochen, du übernimmst, ja, oder?
Okay, also ich denke, dass ich jetzt mich verabschiede, aber ich gebe als erstes Wort für die Verabschiedung nochmal Shakira und wollte schon im Vorfeld sagen, ich bin echt begeistert, dass ihr so viel Geduld hattet und dass ihr so einfach euch so engagiert habt mit den Beiträgen, und hoffe einfach auch, dass wir Inspirationen finden, um einfach aufeinander zuzugehen, Barrieren abzubauen und wirklich auch zuzuhören. Genau, aber ich gebe jetzt das Wort weiter an Shakira.
Yes, thank you, Jochen. And thank you very, very much, everyone, for listening. From Germany, from America, from everywhere, inviting, and the UK over here, for inviting us to bring these very, very important topics together, because you were absolutely right. It's about people understanding each other, and that's what we have to do. So thank you very, very much, Jochen, for presenting from the UK. And you can tell me when we end.
So thank you also, Shakira. Thank you all people, and we'll make a big applause. And a little or also applause to Lenka and to Boris. So thank you. And now we are finished.
Yes.
The end.
What should I get? That's a person.
Dann sage ich auch noch mein Schlusswort. Danke. Danke, dass ihr da wart. Ich fand es eine ganz tolle Veranstaltung. Und danke auch dir, Shakira. Grüße nach London. Ich hoffe, wir schaffen es auch mal wieder miteinander zu sprechen oder mal diese heutige Veranstaltung auch mal in einer anderen Form oder in einer ähnlichen Form nochmal zu wiederholen. Also danke auch dir, Jochen, für den Einsatz. Es war ganz großartig. Ich glaube, wir haben Diskussion, Film, Musik, Gesang und das war einfach nur so viel an Entertainment. Danke. Und jetzt ein Applaus von mir. Damit schließen wir die internationalen Wochen gegen Rassismus. Das ist tatsächlich die letzte Veranstaltung, aber Rassismus bekämpfen kann nicht nur 2 Wochen lang dauern. Wir setzen diesen Kampf fort und auch die nächsten Veranstaltungen hier am EZ werden sicherlich auch noch solche und ähnliche Themen behandeln. Wenn ihr Ideen habt, kommt gerne auf uns zu. Wir hören zu, wir denken weiter, wir suchen nach Partnern und nach Akteuren. Und genau, die nächste Veranstaltung wird zum 75 Jahre Grundgesetz in Deutschland sein. Also auch das, auch den Rechtsstaat, die Demokratie, die feiern wir. Und da sieht man sich sicherlich nochmal wieder. Danke.
Yeah, they did.
Have you got this recording?
Yeah, so good. Dyer.